Hey, welcome back to the DDL. This is week 4. I'm Wicked, coach of the Golden State Warriors, and this week I was meant to be playing against Corvus, coach of the Animal Girl Association. Corvus, however, sadly last minute realized she wasn't going to be able to play, so I was given a DQ victory. However, I still made a team, and she still made, a plan, a rough draft of what she was planning on bringing into me, so I still thought it'd be interesting to go through my team building process, kind of what I was preparing for, why I built the team that I ended up building, and maybe compare Theorycraft a bit against the set she was like at least initially planning on bringing. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, thank you for tuning in this week. Sorry for no game, and yeah, we'll go into, I guess, the breakdown. Corvus' team is incredibly difficult to prepare for. She only has 9 mons, which could trick you into believing it's easier to prepare for because it's easier to predict what's going to come, but she uses all of her points and all of her mons incredibly well. She allocated these very efficiently. First on up is Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko, obviously a very fast and strong electric type, setting up electric terrain. And my only ground type on my team is Garchomp, who is weak to Tapu Koko's other stabbed option, Fairy. So Tapu Koko is incredibly difficult to prepare for and incredibly difficult to just like slow down or stop. A physical duo of Mega Gallade and Urshifu Rapid Strike are incredibly problematic for my team. My main physical hit taker is, I guess, Garchomp with Rough Skin, but Mega Gallade gets stuff such as Ice Punch and Triple Axle to punish that, and Urshifu Rapid Strike gets Ice Spinner. My other physical hit taker is like Moltres, but again, Mega Gallade gets every coverage in the world, and Urshifu Rapid Strike is, a water type, so it's just gonna blow past Moltres anyways. She has a bit of a defensive core between Corviknight, Skeledirge, and her first Terra Captain, Furgraph. Corviknight, obviously, incredible defensive typing, incredible defensive stats, Roost, U-turn, pivots around all the time. It's very good as like on this 9-1 team where you have, with so much offense already, it's very good to have a kind of fit-all pivot defensive piece. Defogger, utility mon in Corviknight, it does a very good job. Skeledirge is also an incredible mon on this team. It helps prevent setup. So if you come in, try scare one of her offensive pieces out, and try set up and try sweep her, if the team's meant to be more offensive, they're usually a bit susceptible to setup because they don't have a defensive piece to stop you, or in this case, her team doesn't have a huge amount of priority, has some. But Skeledirge, with its ability of Unaware, just stops and prevents any type of setup. It just sits on you, it torch songs and just threatens you whilst it's sitting on you. And Furgraph is just a bulky mon. As a Terra Captain of Fire, Fairy, and Water, it can either use that to be even more bulky and wall even more mons than before, or go on the offensive with something like Nasty Plot, Trick Room, Terra Fire. It can go on the offensive as well, so it's a very scary mon to prepare for. Enamorous Therian is a similar mon to Furgraph in the sense that it's slow, and a Terra Captain with Terra Steel, Ground, and Water available to it. However, because it's slow, all of its stats are everywhere else, so it's really bulky, has like 135 special attack, so it's just insane to switch into. And it's just, a difficult mon to prepare for. Nidoking, another one of these difficult mons. Why? It just has infinite coverage. It's a Gen 1 mon, so it has Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt. Any wall that I think I would have for Nidoking, it can pack coverage for it. Life Orb, Sheer Force is obviously just be difficult to switch into. Very competent Choice Scaffolder. It is a weak point on the team. One of the few hazard setters. It's the only rocker this team has, I think, because apart from that, the next mon, Meowscarada, is the only spiker this team has. Meowscarada, the final 9th mon on this team, another just mainly physical offense mon, 123 speed, I think, so very oppressive speed start, especially if holding a scarf. It outspeeds everything on my team. It gets, again, Triple Axle to punish a lot of my dragon types, so Terra Diancie or a Garchomp. In general, Flower Trick is very difficult to slow down. Knockoff is obviously the move of all time. It's just an insanely scary team with very well chosen offensive and defensive pieces, and I think, Corvus' team is very difficult to prepare for. But, I did my work, I did make a team that I thought did well, I played some mock games, so yeah, this is what I ended up bringing. Well, what I ended up building. So, this is the team that I ended up preparing. You can't see... Actually, one sec. Let me see if I can change that. Copy up, copy up, copy up, copy up. There's quite a few copies. So this is not the first iteration of a team. I spent quite a while building various teams for Corvus and just, you know, thinking about everything. So this is what I ended up settling on. First one up, XURKITREE. I have brought... I think this is the first time I've brought screens this season, which into an Urshifu team, controversial, can just Surging Strike crit past them. But in general, I think screens looked very good and very appreciated for me this week. Corvus' team, as I mentioned earlier, has every one of her like incredibly offensive mons have a lot of coverage options. So if she just makes every single turn correctly, I mean, I guess you can say this in any game, but if she makes a lot of plays correctly, it's very difficult for me actually, and my team might struggle. So these screens allowed me to have a little bit more wiggle room. Psychic is just an attack, and U-turn would let me, once I get screens up, get out. But yeah, screens were mainly there just to give me a little bit more wiggle room, maybe make a more risky play every now and then to try take some momentum back and go on the offensive myself. With her team being so offensive, if I ever did make one of these defensive or like switch-ins correctly, she suddenly got very threatened as well. So I thought screens looked very good this week. Behind screens, I would have a Scarf Primarina. I think I brought this week one as well, but Scarf Primarina with this speed allows me to outspeed everything up to Gallade without a boosting item, which is very appreciated. Gallade is a incredibly, Mega Glade specifically obviously, the very difficult mon for me to switch into, obviously, very difficult mon for me to also hit and kill in one hit. Gallade has very respectable natural bulk, so Scarf Moonblast lets me actually basically one-hit KO that, and it's very appreciated. And Primarina in general offensively looks very strong this week. And with its just natural bulk and its natural typing, especially with screens up, it could have swapped in 1 or 2 times and yeah, started threatening something in return. Garchomp has very similar logic where it's typing into anything that didn't pack ice coverage basically. It could pivot into a flamethrower once or twice and just start threatening up things with just its, you know, insane attacks and base speed and base stats. I went with a mixed set in case I got burnt from Skeledirge. I could just then lock myself into Power Gem and just at least hit everything for super effective or like neutral damage. Obviously, like Urshifu could have resisted it, but yeah, I think the mixed Garchomp looked very strong this week, especially with screens up again. Natural typing and natural bulk just lets me pivot in once or twice and then start threatening something with a Scarf. Scizor is max HP, max defense, defense boosting nature, Rocky Helmet, Roost. Scizor was tasked with just taking on Meowscarada and Urshifu. Again, Mega Gallade has Fire Punch, so I couldn't reliably like rely, I guess, on Scizor to check that. But it did consistently come in on Meowscarada and Urshifu. Obviously, they could have held Protective Pads. Protective Pads make a lot of sense into my team because Moltres exists, Garchomp exists. But Moltres, I don't think she would have expected Moltres to come this week because she just has so much offense to scare out Moltres. Even something as Meowscarada packs Power Gem, so like it can't really check that. And Urshifu is obviously, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, water type. So Scizor came to do this. Bullet Punch is just my reliable priority strong attack. Knockoff is coverage and lets me hit Skeledirge as well as just disrupt. Now Swords Dance on a full defensive set lets me, if she ever makes a more passive play or I come in and guess something correctly, especially with screens up again, I come in on something defensively, I can just Swords Dance, and if like Corviknight's chipped, or even if Corviknight isn't chipped, with Rocky Helmet on my side, I'm not scared of Iron Defense Corviknight because you might see my 6th guy. Wait. XURKITREE? I don't care about Corviknight. So Swords Dance Scizor could actually very quickly turn from a pivotal defensive piece to just going on the offensive and just bullet punching through her entire team. So in mocks, I actually loved this Scizor set. It did everything. I'm actually appreciating Scizor more and more. This one is crazy. I've used Mega Scizor in the past, but normal Scizor with an item slot is... I'm also coming to appreciate it, especially in that decks where this week I'm actually able to bring Roost. I am bringing Terra Diancie as well. with Moonblast, Power Gem, Earth Power, and Carmine. I've gone for full special because, again, I would usually bring Diamond Storm because it's strong. I can afford to be minus speed rather than minus attack. However, the threat of burning from Skeledirge is here this week. Especially Diancie would be one of my Skeledirge checks, I would hope. So I don't want that being burnt and, you know, Diamond Storm being halved in power. So Power Gem came this week instead. Again, especially with screens up, Carmine Diancie became very scary for this team actually. Terra Dragon, although there was a lot of risk of Dazzling Gleam from Coco, Triple Axle from a few mons. I think Terra Dragon still looks very strong, especially Fairy got victimized by Nidoking and a few other mons, like Hovenite, Ironhead and whatnot. So I think I thought about it a lot, I flipped it around a lot, but Terra Dragon ended up being the most consistent for me. Especially because Coco, his special attack stat isn't massive, especially when on electric side, it's relying on electric terrain often to give itself an extra power boost. It doesn't give that on Dazzling Gleam. So Terra Dragon Diancie looks very solid. If I got a Carmine or 2 up, actually I would usually be able to trade myself for 1 or 2 mons at least. With the defense stats specifically, I think I was initially full defense, instead of mixed with defense and Spadef. But I calced that I needed help from Nidoking. Premier Scarf partially because Nidoking with a Life Orb just, again, good coverage options. It just blew a hole in my team. So I needed a little more help with Nidoking, and that is why I have that Spadef stat on Diancie 160. With that Spadef, I was able to live on from full HP, if I Terra Dragon immediately and she clicked either Sludge Wave or Earth Power, I would be able to take Modest Life Orb, Sludge Wave, Earth Power into Modest Life Orb, Ice Beam, survive with the leftovers recovery, and then at least kill it or just take most of its HP away with Earth Power. So I got pretty deep into the calcs. Her team's just insane. I actually love her team. Looks incredibly fun to use. The coverage options are very fun. Yeah, that's a team I'd be interested in using in the future. And Nidoking specifically looks like a very cool mon. But it was a headache for me to deal with. And yeah, Diancie is EV'd to do that. And the funny mon of the week, XURKITREE comes yet again. I think 3rd week in a row it was obviously in play, but it was going to come for a 3rd week in a row with T-Bolt, Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam. Substitute SALAC Berry. SALAC Berry, for those who don't know, is when you drop down to 25% of your HP or lower, you get a speed boost. You get +1, you eat the berry and you get +1 speed. Now with that speed, and with at +1, I outspeed her entire team that's not scarfed or boosted in any sort of way. Energy Ball is especially nice coverage because with Energy Ball, I can 2-hit KO Nidoking, or do about 50-60, so if it's already been chipped earlier in the game, just kill it. Energy Ball also lets me hit something I was very scared of, which was Terra, Ground, and Amorous. Thunderbolt lets me hit everything else, basically. This mon, I wish I saved this this mock game, but this mon got pretty consistently, because Corviknight exists, Skeledirge exists. There are a few, despite a team having so much offense, there are a few mons which XURKITREE does scare out and can reliably get a substitute on. And if this happened with, you know, the right amount of chip happening, with, like, I don't know, the Scarfers being removed, Miasgrada being out of the question, something like that, XURKITREE went insane. I think I 5-0'd off 4-0'd like 1 or 2 games with this XURKITREE. I loved this XURKITREE set. I'm so sad I didn't get to see an actual game and didn't actually come out and do anything on, like, you know, camera or whatever. But this XURKITREE set was very fun to use in mocks, and I'm a believer in this XURKITREE set. But yeah, that was what I was planning on bringing into Corvus, and so this is what Corvus was planning on bringing into me. Apparently, somebody else helped her build, so this might have not been the final model of what she would have ended up bringing, but this is at least an early idea, and I don't want to stay on this for too long because, you know, theory is like team building is like half the game. The other half the game is determined, you know, by your turns, by the actual battle. So I don't want to sit here and theorycraft how and just preach how I would have won a million games out of a million. But yeah, it's cool just to see the basic idea and what I maybe could have ran into. First of an up, Specs Coco. Annoying Mon. I'm kind of happy it's not Scarf, because it makes it easier for something like Garchomp to revenge, and it being choice locked makes it a little more risky around like Diancie. If she got the read incorrectly and T-bolted or Volt switched or U-turned or whatever on Diancie instead of Dazzling Gleamed, I could have started Calm Minding up and getting problematic. But if you got every turn correctly on Coco, yeah, I think I just lost. I can't lie. There's a reason I brought screens and just was relying on a little bit of wiggle room, because Coco every turn this game was very difficult to deal with. Urshifu Rapid Strike, and I'm going to just mention this now, no Meowscarada. I think Meowscarada looked a lot better than Urshifu into my team, especially Scarf again. I mentioned Scarf again. Scarf Meowscarada was just uncontested from my team and could just run around triple axle U-turn just forever against me. Especially, I guess if you don't know I'm not bringing Moltres, it's a bit more difficult, but you have a bit mons on this team to victimize Moltres, so I thought it would have been a good bring. But Urshifu Rapid Strike would have been difficult. Adamant Band. Not a lot can swap into that. I'd have to run some maybe I'll put a calc above me or something about how Terra Dragon Diancie with like the defense I have up would have done, but no, Ice Spinner definitely helps my Diancie do a little bit better, and in general a little bit more manageable. But Adamant Band, Surging Strikes, which ignore screens, would have been difficult, would have had to make a lot of plays correct. But thankfully, as you see, actually, these two not scarfed, so XURKITREE can come in on these guys, and especially this one, and I'll actually have to, again, calc if this, like, one-hit KO XURKITREE or something, but XURKITREE looks strong, I think. And Amorous did come. I was actually scared of this mon. Terra Ground. The Terra I was expecting. Other Terras led to a little bit more mind games with XURKITREE, but I think, yeah, Terra Ground makes a lot of sense. Sludge Bomb, Draining Kiss, Earth Power, Mystical Fire. No Moonblast. It is a V, so Diancie does struggle with it a little bit more. But if I'm like +1, Terra Dragon Diancie, it might not. I might beat it again. I might be lying. I'll put up some calcs if I'm lying, but I might have been able to beat it 1v1 because it's Draining Kiss over Moonblast. This would have caught me off guard though. I was expecting weakness policy sets with like agility or something. Very difficult. It's very difficult to one-hit KO an Amorous, so it can pretty consistently get the weakness policy off and just sweep. And Specs also looked very good to just immediately nuke something on my team. But AV would have definitely caught me off guard. This coverage would have caught me off guard. I don't think I expected Sludge Bomb at all, really. Would have suffered. I guess Primarina, but I was Scarf, but it's AV, so it probably leaves. Yeah, this would have been problematic. Corviknight, Rocky Helmet, Pressure, Bull, Fizz Def, so yeah. Diancie, okay, I'm mentioning Diancie. I think Diancie looked very good this week. But XURKITREE obviously, there's no way it's surviving. No Resist Berry, no Spadef, no nothing. U-turn, Roost, Brave Bird, Defog. Yeah, just meant to be a little utility pivot, I guess. Take a physical hit, Rocky Helmet up. No Iron Head. I guess it would have forced Diancie to Terra anyways, but it's an interesting decision. And actually, how is Sizzle doing? Ooh, Sizzle kind of looks like it also would have done very well here, because it just sets up on Corviknight. Oh, I'm sorry, couldn't hear my dogs barking. Hope not. I think somebody's coming home. Scarf Nidoking. Yeah, I was preparing for. Holy shit! I think you can probably hear my dogs. I'll cut the recording for a second then. All right, yeah, we're back. Sorry, somebody was coming home, so my dogs got excited. I think I was talking about Nidoking. Sludge Wave, Earth Power, Flamethrower, Rocks. No Ice Beam. So my Diancie calc, useless. But this does make it a Diancie setup victim. Modest, however, so it would have still hit like a truck. Rocks going up. I didn't bring any hazard control, but I don't think I had anything particularly hazard weak, and this game wasn't going to last very long anyway, so I don't think I would have been swapping around too much, but hazards are hazards. And the final mon was Unaware Skeldurge. This mon did look very strong into me. It's White Garchomp is mixed of his Will-O-Wisp. Torch Song, Slack off Will-O-Wisp Pet. It's just an insane combination. A defensive mon that can just come in, be bulky, ignore your stat boosts, and then just start boosting itself whilst attacking. Yeah, you know what? I'll give it up. It's a scary mon. But yeah, that's my team, what I ended up preparing, what she kind of ended up planning or preparing somewhat. I think this team would have gone down to how I used my Scarfers and Diancie. I think Scizor could have done well, but with Skeldurge around, depends on how much knockoff was doing and how much chip this Skeldurge managed to get from other sources. But this game would have been very fun. I think it would have been a lot of trying to make us reading each other and making various cool plays, but sadly didn't happen. However, that did put me at a DQ victory, so I gained 6 for that, because that's just the rules this league has, and I'm currently at the top of my pool. Deserved. Next week I play the other person in second place in my pool, Moody. Very scary team as well. All these teams are scary. How does that keep happening? It's crazy. But do I have anything else to do? I guess I can look at the MVP, but oh my... Oh! I need to check. I need to work. I'm gonna come back here. My mic's coming with me. I'm so bright. What the fuck? Anyways, because Lopey didn't appear. He wasn't gonna come this week anyways, but yeah, I had to give up my MVP spot. Actually, I did a watch together of this entire league yesterday, literally. So it's up right now. It's for Reggie Man stream, and we discuss this and we talk, and you'll see why Reggie Gigas is in 13th place if you watch that stream. So I'll link that at the top or afterwards in the description. I'll link it somewhere. I might also make a highlight video actually, but yeah, I'll go back to a normal screen. So yeah, thank you for watching this basically team breakdown and a lot of theory crafting. Sadly, yeah, there wasn't a game, but thank you for tuning in to the end anyways. I'll make sure there's an actual game next week. And yeah, thank you for watching. Give me any advice if you have any. See ya.